Hi, guys. This is uh, Carrie, and I'm here for a brand new podcast. And I literally have no idea what I'm about to talk about, but I'm sitting in the backseat of my car. I got a little black Nissan, and I live in Las Vegas, Nevada. And I've always just wanted to have a podcast. And this show is just going to be kind of just like an improv show. And I'm probably just going to be talking to myself in every single episode, just to myself, because currently, I don't even know where to begin, but currently I basically don't even know what the hell I'm going to do with my life. None of my friends live here anymore. Everyone's moved away. I'm stuck doing jobs that come and go for freelance. Nothing is consistent. And I just I don't even know. And I'm just here and I just want to talk to myself and kind of talk through my life, tell you guys stories, share my thoughts with you. I just need a place to just veg and just kind of chit chat because I'm pretty sure all of my friends are just sick of hearing me talk. So instead, I'll be talking to you guys. So yeah, I'm just going to kind of get into this episode and kind of give you guys a rundown of who I am and what's going on. And like I said, in Vegas right now, it's pretty damn hot. It's like 100 degrees and who knows how hot it is in my car. It's in the middle of, well, I guess it's late evening. It's like 7:30 right now. I'm waiting for the Timbers game to start. For those of you who are MLS fans, which I'm a big fan of soccer. I watch mostly the MLS, the American League, if you guys aren't familiar with it, EPL, the Premier League, and I've been watching the championships, the European Championships this week, and I'm actually going for Germany. But anyway, that's here nor there. So yeah, a little about me. I am almost 27 years old, and I work in, I guess, I don't even know really how to describe it. It's like events and entertainment. I do mostly like VIP kind of hosty things for parties, private parties, big, small, corporate parties, conventions, private parties. I do sales. I work at shows like CES. I'm basically just like a person for hire, sort of like an upgraded brand ambassador. I'm sure most of you guys know what that is. As long as doing some other shit in the city, I kind of just do whatever people need me to do, and that's my life. It's just crazy, and some people say it's glamorous. I don't know if I would say it's glamorous. I could see where it looks that way on like Instagram and Facebook and all that, because I get to wear cute clothes and outfits, and I don't have a 9 to 5, whatever. But in reality, to me, it just kind of, I don't know, it's lost like its sense of excitement. And if anything now, I just get really pissed off while I'm at work, and customer service kind of blows right now, and I'm just over it. I would generally consider myself to be I'm super empathetic. I'm clear thinking a majority of the time. I have really good patience, and I usually don't lose my patience very often. It takes a whole bunch to kind of set me adrift on my temperament scale. My friends always joke that I've literally never even yelled at anybody before. So I'm not sure if that makes me like actually a psychopath because I'm like so in control of my emotions. But it's starting to like wear and tear on me. Like last week, so I was working at World Series of Poker. I'm sure all you guys know what that is. It's just like a huge, massive world tournament for poker players. And the whole job was just supposed to be smile and greet people and say hello and help them register. And then in reality, it turned into something much more than that because our boss didn't have the foresight to kind of see what the actual players would want from us. So it was supposed to just be a simple customer service meet and greet, turned into this whole other scenario of having to learn every single game of poker and know the ins and outs of everything and know the ins and outs of registration and lines and kind of like gathering the crowd. And it doesn't sound like that big of a deal, but when literally nobody who was supposed to be in charge knew how to tell us what to do, it was a fucking mess. And we had people yelling at us, and we already look kind of dumb because we're in like little skirts and t-shirt or like little collared shirt things and hats, and everyone there honestly just had a kind of a weird attitude about them anyway. And this guy just comes up to me, and, the first day and was just like, oh, ha ha ha, blah blah, girl, like, how are you? What's going on? And, I just was like, hi, sir, how's it going? Like, do you have any questions about poker? And he goes, well, sweetheart, what do they pay you for here? Do they pay you just to stand here and look pretty? And instantly on the inside, I'm fucking pissed because I hate, for one, someone calling me sweetheart in that context. Just like as an older male like that talking down to me, you just can tell you can tell where he's coming from. And I, try to laugh it off because I am on the clock. I am in customer service. And I go, oh, no, they don't. Like, we're here to answer questions. Like, any questions you have, I'm here to answer. So the man wouldn't leave it alone. And he just starts going off, asking all these bullshit questions that have nothing to do with anything. So he goes, what's the capital of Denmark? So I ask him, I say, sir, I go, where do you work? Would you like me to come follow you around all day at your place of business and ask you questions that have nothing to do with what your job is? I go, if you have a question about poker, I'd be happy to answer them. And if you don't, you need to leave me alone. And he just was so surprised and pissed off at me. I honestly don't even know why I'm telling you guys this story in the first episode. I guess it's just current affairs. But anyway, so the rest of the week, he kept coming up to me, asking me stupid questions, telling me to smile, telling me he likes me better when I smile. And it's not even just between him and I, he's yelling this in a crowd of like thousands of people, where then multiple, up to a dozen people at once are hearing what he's saying to me. And so on the final day, honestly, I just snapped at him and I go, sir, stop talking to me. I go, you're harassing me to the point where now you're interrupting my job and it's not funny. And he goes, your job is customer service. You have to be nice to me. And I say, customer service stopped when you started harassing me. You're not funny. You need to leave me alone. It's not cute and I don't feel comfortable. And then this stupid fucker is just like, oh, well, you need to get a sense of humor, blah, 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 basically calling me a bitch. And I think in that moment I knew that I'm over it. I'm over these like events and just putting myself out there for people to talk to me this way. And I mean, I guess I'm just being kind of a baby about it because I know in most of customer service, people get talked to this way on a daily basis, and it makes me mad. But I don't know I literally have no reason to tell you guys this, except for it's just kind of like summing up how I'm feeling about things, just over it. So anyway, if you're even still listening, I guess, I'm originally from Portland, Oregon. I grew up there and, it was awesome. I loved it there. I didn't really appreciate it at the time, how much I did like it there, now that I've lived in Vegas for almost 9-10 years, I think. But man, it's beautiful there. If you guys have ever been to Northwest, it's so beautiful. And when I go back there and I visit coming from the desert, you can just smell the trees. You just smell the plants and the flowers, and it's just such a different feeling there, just being around so much foliage. If you're from anywhere that has lots of plants, you have no idea just the shift that it brings to your environment. More so than the actual environment itself. It's just totally different energy. But I grew up there, and I did modeling and acting full time. I started when I was 3 years old. I immediately just got booked full time for tons of little ads as a kid. Did all kinds of stuff for huge companies. I did the whole move to LA thing. I was on TV shows and whatever with modeling agencies that are a big deal there, and it was so fantastic and such a fun experience. And it just has so many pros and cons to how it just brought me up to be as an adult later and whatever. But those are stories for a different time. But yeah, so then I moved to Vegas with my family when I graduated from high school and just kind of came down here and didn't immediately like it that much. I think I'm just like a really social person, and so it was really, really hard for me to move somewhere where I didn't know anybody and I didn't really have an outlet to meet anybody. It's not like I came here and I went to school. I didn't go to school. I never really went to college. I went to like half a semester or something, so that doesn't count. And Vegas is kind of a brutal city. I mean, if it's kind of like people here say it's like it's like a little small, I don't know what the phrase is. What's the phrase? It's like, it's a big little town. I don't even know how to say it, but it's such a small knit community here that like, unless you're in the industry or, you went to school here, you grew up here, it is hard, I would say, to make friends. And then the downside is when you do make friends, such as in my scenario, in my case, everybody just moves away. And it just creates this like cycle of feeling like you're starting over. Just every so often, all your closest friends leave and you're just kind of like back to zero. You don't feel like you're ever like in a solid, I don't know, you don't feel grounded here. I know my friends who are all married, they feel very differently, like they love it here. And I think it's because the cost of living here is so cheap. I mean, when I say cheap, it's ridiculous. You can have like a 4-bedroom house here for like $1,100 or something like that. But they all love it here. And I think it's just because they're here with a partner. And, that just makes it different. And here's a big surprise. Obviously, as I'm all mopey and fucking depressed on this blog. Definitely single. Mostly by choice, I'd say. I'll say it's mostly by choice. And about 20% not by choice. And again, this blog or whatever, this podcast is meant to be really fun. But my goal also is to do everything in a one-hit wonder. So forgive me if I'm all over the place. This is my first one. And I don't want this to be fake at all. So I'm literally with each podcast, I'm just going to post it as is. So forgive me if I'm kind of rambling. Hopefully I'll get better at that. But anyway, my goal is to eventually be good at this and have focus where I don't ramble. But this way you guys kind of just get a overall scenario of what's on my mind currently. And currently, part of the reason why I feel like I'm so unhappy is just because I don't have this connection. Like I'm saying, I don't have a friend connection here. My best friend here, she did just move away maybe 2 weeks ago or so. My best friend before that for 3 years, she moved away about 6 months ago. And my last real relationship was, almost 4 years ago at this point. It's been almost 4 years. And like I said, a lot of that is just me because self-proclaimed picky, but not in a bad way. I don't have outrageous expectations. I just expect people to be normal and be compassionate and be somebody I actually want to be with. And again, Vegas is kind of a hard shit place for that kind of stuff. Like, I'm literally going to make episodes about all this individually because it's crazy, but Vegas is a city for people who want to make money. It's not, we're not Paris. We're not the city of love by fucking any means. We're the city of hookups and getting what you want in that moment and that self-gratification, self-satisfaction. And that's kind of what people do here. And that's just not me. That's not what I want in my life. I need consistency and I want someone who's stable and wants to be with one person, not with 100. Or someone who doesn't want to date 100,000 people. It's just a disaster. But anyway, yeah, so I'm single. And that's really cool and fun. And let's see. Okay, if you guys want to imagine what I look like, I'm about 5'10". So I'm tall. I'm very tall. I'm Caucasian. I have long dark hair, blue eyes. People tell me I look like Katy Perry, kinda, which is debatable. I've also been told that I look like that I'm built like a Ford truck, and that I look like a cartoon. So I have, I do have large features. I have big old head, big eyes, big ass hair, and I'm athletic. I love to rock climb. I go bouldering. I'm really into staying active, so I play soccer and sports and, all these fun things. I'm not like a gym rat. I'm a activity rat. So that's cool. And yeah, I'm trying to think what else I should talk about, you guys. let's see. So today is a Tuesday, I think. Yep, today's Tuesday. And I spent my entire day writing because, surprise, surprise, from my great event from the world of poker I had last week, my client actually, well, not my client, the client who hired me from my modeling agency, they fired us. So we had booked an entire month's worth of work. And they literally just show up one morning and 5 of us girls were there and they literally just canceled. And I'm pretty sure it's not even legal, but I haven't seen the contracts, but normally that kind of thing isn't allowed. But we show up to work at freaking 7:30 in the morning, dressed and ready to go, blah, blah, blah. We get a call from the client while we're all standing there saying, we don't want the girls, send them home. And my boss just freaked out. She just, she's literally freaking out, rightfully so. And she's just like, the girls are here to work. Like, they're here to work. You can't just send them home without pay. So basically, I'm convinced, my little conspiracy theory is the client realized that they didn't actually need us, because the event was actually a lot slower than they had anticipated. So my thought is that she realized they didn't actually need us and was trying to create a scenario where she could blame us to then have a logistic reason to fire us. So she started saying that we weren't working. She said that we were trying to steal hats from them, which is just so stupid because we don't want the hats, we don't care. So she said we were stealing from them. And end of story, I got compensated for about 3 days out of the entire month of work that I had planned on working. And as I said earlier, I'm freelance, so to me this really sucks because right now I have 2 afternoons of work. I have about 6 hours booked total for the next 2 weeks of work right now. So if you can imagine, I'm kind of freaking out. So that really sucks. But so today, my free time, I always write. I'm a absolutely 100% I want to be writer, dreamer. I love writing romance books. I love writing mostly fiction, although I have dabbled in self-help sort of a thing, which, that's its own separate thing. But now for the most part, I do romance, kind of like depressing stuff, I guess. It's not necessarily all happy romance. It's kind of just real life surprise, kind of based off my life a little bit with my bad dates and my bad stuff and real life. So I do that, as well as I've been trying to get into writing scripts. So that's been really, really fun for me, and it's been such a refreshing outlet to have someplace just to kind of, not talk aloud, but write aloud and kind of just process my thoughts and get everything out on paper and kind of just see where I can come up with from all this creativeness, which is whatever. But it's really, really fun, and it is so gratifying to just sit there and just do nothing but think on paper. I mean, that's honestly how it feels to me. And again, I guess it kind of brings me back to doing this, forgive me. I just shut the door. I had to open it for a second because it was so hot. Anyway, but it kind of brings me back to why I want to do this. And I just think, self-expression is so important, and I'm very conscious of when I need an outlet for something. And I feel myself kind of just not wanting to express myself so freely to people at this stage of my life. There's a lot of back and forth going on for me mentally, where I'm so unhappy, but I don't even really know why. I think I'm just not challenged enough here anymore. I miss social interactions a lot right now. And it's not that I don't have friends, I don't see people. That's not the case at all. But I'm just in search of a deep connection that I'm missing right now. And I feel like my youth and my time is just flying by so fast away from me, and I don't even know how to catch up to it without just throwing my life away to have fun. So I'm kind of in this weird balance of how can I be a young professional, find a career, also while having like a solid social life and hopefully trying to date and eventually like actually get married to somebody, which is crazy to even think about at this where I'm at right now. But so I just feel this constant desire to talk about all these things, but I just feel like I've exhausted my friendships and my family from listening to me. So that is part of the reason also why I do write, just because I have all these thoughts and I've been trying to turn them into stories as a way of dealing and processing my own emotions about things. So instead of just, writing in first person, I write characters and I turn these characters into pieces of myself and I try to work out my issues by having them go through these issues in these stories. And it sounds crazy, but I swear to God, it is so helpful. But so that's kind of what I'm hoping from this, is just that I can sit and talk to myself in my car and just like hash things out, and I want to just record this and post it and honest to God, not think about it ever again. So don't expect any consistency as far as what I'm talking about. I don't even know what I'll be talking about when I'm going to talk about it, just to keep it genuine and just true to myself and what I feel like I need to talk about. So this podcast is just going to be, I guess, like a self-therapy session. I mean, that's kind of the only way I can think about it. It's going to be all over the place and it's going to be honest, which is again why I'm going to try to stay anonymous. I'm pretty sure the whole duration of this, I don't think I'll ever have a need or desire to, I don't know, like connect you guys to any of my other social media or anything, because there's so much freedom and anonymity that, I don't even know if that's a word. It sounds like a cool word. I hope it is. But anonymity is going to allow me just to be myself without fear of like rejection. Because if you guys don't know me, I honestly don't give a fuck. Like if what I say bugs somebody because you don't even know who I am. And so that is so fun for me. Because in my day-to-day life, I don't have that freedom in the least bit. It's always smiles and happy and everything's dandy, and my Facebook is such a lie because I can't post anything I actually want to post on there because my clients follow me on there and family and church people and ex-boyfriends and people I hate. And I obviously have to have a Facebook for work, so just all my social media has been ruined. So I feel like without a face, I have freedom to just say whatever and talk about people that I would have no guts to talk about if they knew that I was talking about them. So anyway, that's me. The only thing you guys are going to know about me is that, so it's hot and I'm literally brain dead and the Timbers game is going to be on soon. So I might as well just keep this short and sweet and just say hi and goodbye. And hopefully the next podcast I'll have a solid theme for you guys that you can listen to. And if you even listened this far at all, I really appreciate it. And hopefully you guys can come back and maybe I'll see you next time. Thanks for listening.